In the heart of a dense, ancient forest, where the trees stood tall and the canopy above blocked out most of the sky, there lived a young woman named Elara. Unlike most people, Elara had always been drawn to the quiet and the stillness of the woods. While others sought the company of friends, the hustle of the city, and the noise of modern life, Elara found peace in solitude. She had grown up in a small village on the edge of the forest, where people whispered about the dangers of the woods. They spoke of wild animals, of spirits that wandered among the trees, and of a deep, unsettling silence that could drive a person mad. But Elara had never feared the forest. To her it was a sanctuary, a place where she could be herself without the pressure of expectations or the need to fit into the mold society had set for her. One day, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders, Elara decided to venture deeper into the forest than she had ever gone before. She packed a small bag with essentials, some bread, cheese, a flask of water, and her journal. As she walked, the familiar sounds of the village faded away, replaced by the rustling of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the soft crunch of twigs beneath her feet. The deeper she went, the more the world seemed to slow down. The trees grew taller, their branches intertwining to create a natural cathedral of green. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. Elara breathed in the cool, earthy air and felt her heart lighten. After hours of walking, she reached a small clearing where a crystal-clear stream flowed. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and the gentle sound of it, bubbling over rocks, filled the air. Elara set down her bag and sat by the stream, dipping her fingers into the cool water. She felt a deep sense of contentment, as if the forest itself were embracing her, welcoming her into its quiet solitude. As the day wore on, Elara took out her journal and began to write. She wrote about the beauty of the forest, the way the light played through the trees, and the peace that came with being alone. She wrote about how, in solitude, she could hear her own thoughts more clearly and reflect on her life without the distractions of the outside world. In the quiet of the forest, Elara found that she didn't feel lonely. Instead, she felt a connection to something greater than herself. The trees, the animals, the very earth beneath her feet, all of it was alive, and she was a part of it. She realized that loneliness wasn't about being alone, it was about feeling disconnected. And here, in the heart of the forest, she felt more connected than ever. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Elara built a small fire and ate her simple meal. The warmth of the flames and the crackling of the wood added to the cozy atmosphere. She didn't miss the noise of the village or the company of others. She reveled in the silence, in the way the night seemed to wrap around her like a comforting blanket. That night, Elara slept under the stars, her only companions being the whispering trees and the distant hoot of an owl. She dreamed of the forest, of wandering through its endless paths, always discovering something new, something beautiful. When she woke in the morning, she felt refreshed, her mind clear, and her heart full. Elara stayed in the forest for several days, living simply and enjoying the solitude. She spent her days exploring, her evenings writing, and her nights under the stars. Each day she felt more at peace, more in tune with herself and the world around her. The forest, with its quiet strength and timeless beauty, had become her home, a place where she could be herself without fear or judgment. When Elara finally returned to her village, she was changed. She no longer felt the need to seek out the company of others to fill a void. She had found contentment in her own company and had learned to appreciate the quiet moments of life. And though she returned to the rhythms of village life, she carried the peace of the forest within her, a calm that could not be shaken. Elara continued to visit the forest often, finding solace in its solitude whenever the world became too loud. She knew that true peace wasn't found in the absence of others, but in the presence of oneself. And in the quiet solitude of the forest, she had found herself. In the end, Elara realized that loneliness wasn't something to be feared or avoided. It was a state of mind, and when embraced, it could lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. She had learned to love the silence, to find joy in solitude, and to appreciate the beauty of being alone. And so, Elara lived her life with a heart full of peace, knowing that she was never truly alone. The forest, with its ancient wisdom and quiet embrace, would always be there, a reminder that solitude could be a source of strength and serenity.